nightclub known to be the socialite hangout in Delhi is also under the scanner. One of the clubs that is being raided, of course, is Playboy. That's Club Playboy, which is also being raided. This, do remember, is in connection with the Kutch drugs bust case. So essentially what we're learning right now is the National Investigation Agency is raiding about 10 locations. These are in Delhi, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. Also, sources within the NIA tell Republic TV that certain socialites could be involved. We are also now learning that some of these raids are being conducted at a nightclub, which is known to be the socialite hangout in Delhi. Let me go across to Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor, who has more details on this. Good morning, Abhishek. So we're given to understand that even as these raids are being conducted across Delhi, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, there could perhaps be some big names who are now under the scanner?
Oh, well, absolutely. In fact, you could remember in September of last year, a huge haul of heroin, about 3,000 kilograms was seized from Mundra port by DRI and the Gujarat ATS based on a tip-off. The origin was Afghanistan, and it had come to the Mundra port via Bandar Abbas port in Iran. And subsequently, there were some arrests made, and the case was in fact transferred to the NIA. There were arrests made in Delhi, there were arrests made in Chennai. A couple was involved in a transit of those drugs, and it seems that these drugs were meant for socialite parties across India in Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru, and hence these raids being carried out. In fact, it seems that the NIA has zeroed down on the destination of the drugs, and those people could be under scanner. So, for example, I can tell you at one place in Delhi where raids are on is a nightclub called Playboy. It happens to be in Samrat Hotel in the diplomatic enclave of Chanakyapuri, in fact, and this has got the agencies worried. So it seems, and the scale of the drug seizure was mind-blowing. It was perhaps the biggest in the history of India. 3,000 kgs, which means 3 tons. It was valued at over 20,000 crore rupees. And that's why, in fact, the case investigation was handed over to NIA to look at terror angle also, given the fact that the origin was in Afghanistan and those drugs came via Port Bandar Abbas. And now these raids at 10 locations, including in Delhi, in Gujarat, in Tamil Nadu, possibly in Karnataka. And this time, the people who were involved in dispensing of this huge haul, had these drugs escaped the scanner of agencies, they would have gone across the country and been part of that party circuit and really affected the social fabric of the country. And in that sense, this investigation gains significance, Nupur, and imagine 3,000 kgs, 3 tons of drugs, had they not been discovered and seized, would have gone inside the country and to the end consumer. So these raids are essentially going at those people who facilitated the trade based on all the input that have been gathered and the investigation that has gone on for the last 6 months.
Now, as you're pointing out, Abhishek, these drugs that were recovered were about 3,000 kgs and worth about 21,000 crore rupees in the international market. Now, you are, of course, telling us that these raids are linked to that seizure that was made at the Mundra port. But can you give us more details in terms of the places that are being raided in Tamil Nadu, as well as I think another location that's being raided, as you were pointing out, that's Gujarat?
Yes, so those we'll get in a bit, Nupur. This is just preliminary information coming just as the raids have begun early morning. And like in the case of Delhi, so in the case of Bengaluru, so in the case of Tamil Nadu, these are essentially places where there were end users, or at those people who were facilitating the end use of these drugs. What had happened was immediately after the seizure of these drugs from Mundra port, DRI had, Gujarat ATS had gotten into the investigation, and the leads had taken them to a couple in Chennai who are under arrest and in judicial custody now. But subsequently, the case was transferred to NIA, and then it had led to raids in Delhi at that time and the arrest of 6 individuals from Delhi, including Afghan nationals. And that's when the terror angle unraveled, because remember, post whatever developments have happened in Afghanistan, drug trade has again become a source of income for government there, and that's why perhaps it's so easy, such an easy flow of drugs that's happening. and the agencies are worried. A massive clampdown on drug trade through the Iran-Gujarat port route has been going on. Subsequent to September seizure, this was a big one. At least half a dozen other seizures have happened, essentially done by Gujarat ATF, of course, in coordination with national agencies.
Right.
And the investigation, the manner in which this has progressed, clearly showing that apart from those from outside India, there are people within the country who have been involved in this trade, and the focus now being essentially on those who are sort of affecting the innards of our society with this.
By agencies, and also the fact that most of these drugs actually originated in Afghanistan and took the Iran route to come to India.
Well, yes, absolutely. In fact, as I was saying earlier, the drug haul of 3,000 kg was heroin, and it's a highly processed drug with commands a premium in the international market. That's why about 20,000 plus crore rupees. And that's when the central government also, in fact, realized that this is something which is very dangerous, which is more than a small seizure here and there. And that's why the case was transferred to the NIA. And it's been about 9 months after the initial arrests that were made both in Chennai and in Delhi. There was a bit of a hiatus, but then there were subsequent leads that came in from these Afghan nationals who were arrested, and the NIA, the sleuths, they took a bit of time to work on those. There were some traps laid, and that's when they reached these nightclubs and these places of party scene across these metros. So the raids are going on. Just in a bit, we might have more information. Nupur, we have to wait just for a while because remember, as I said, it was just a tip-off, and these raids have started earlier in the morning. They might take a couple of hours and gather some more information in terms of whatever documents they are seizing, whatever equipment they would pick up to see in which direction and how and what was the scale of this operation, who all were involved. How many socialites, possibly some VIPs is going to blow up as the day progresses.
All right, we are just getting more information as to what has happened. We are learning that one of the clubs that is under the scanner right now, of course, is Playboy. This is Club Playboy. It's a posh club that's located in Delhi and is known to be essentially a place where a large number of socialites gather. Now, Abhishek, we were also talking about the fact that, earlier on when these raids were actually conducted at Mundra, what was discovered was that these drugs were intended for several areas in Delhi, Ahmedabad, as well as several places in Andhra Pradesh. Searches were then carried out over there, and a Chennai-based couple were actually investigated. Can you give us more details about that aspect as well, please?
Well, Nupur, yes. So that couple was they posed as traders, and this was shown as some kind of chemical salt which was destined to some industries and camouflaged as an industrial product by this couple who own a trading firm in Chennai. But they were arrested. Subsequent to this, some leads were available, which were being worked on. But what is important is that Gujarat acted only as a transit.
Absolutely. As you're pointing out, Abhishek, so raids being carried out at various locations. We're going to try and get our viewers more information for them.